Hello, I'm Simon Lycett the florist. Usually about now, my brilliant team and I would be busy creating floral fabulousness across the United Kingdom, and we'd be using an abundance of beautiful British foliage, flowers and plant material, all sourced from New Covent Garden Flower Market, as well as some local independent flower farms. And as the country is starting to slowly emerge from lockdown, it's more important than ever that we support our local communities, our UK suppliers, and especially British flower growers and wholesalers. And those of us who are florists, we already know the joy of working with flowers, but there's clear evidence from research carried out by others, including the Royal Horticultural Society, that being amongst greenery and flowers and plants is really beneficial to our mental and physical well-being. So this year, more than ever, I am thrilled to be supporting British Flowers Week, which is a national celebration run by the UK's iconic and premier market, New Covent Garden Flower Market at Nine Elms. And British Flowers Week is returning for its 8th consecutive year between the 15th and 21st of June, beginning on the same day that New Covent Garden Flower Market will start opening to the public after lockdown. And this is the day that many independent high street florists are also again going to be open and sourcing locally grown, fragrant, colourful flowers to support British Flowers Week. So whether you're buying blooms from your local florists and flower stalls or gathering from your garden, we want the nation to rejoice together in a big floral hug using bunches, buds and buckets of British flowers. We're encouraging businesses and the public to decorate their windows with British flowers, hopefully placed perhaps where passers-by can enjoy them too. And it might be as simple as a single stem, a bunch in a baked bean tin, a drawing, or a simple series of vases or vessels filled with foliage and flowers. And I'd love to share with you some simple ways to condition for and care with your British flowers, making them last and look their best, giving floral fabulous to all, especially during British Flowers Week. Boiling water seems ruthless, but is a brilliant way to condition lots of hard woody stemmed foliage and flowers, such as this salvia. Cut and split the stems like you would ordinarily, remove the lower leaves and plunge the stems into the water, and you'll see air bubbles will rise up from them. Leave the stems in boiling water for a few minutes and then top them up with cold. Try and pick garden roses early in the day before it becomes too warm, so they remain lovely and turgid. Having gathered them, cut and split the stem and then trim off any lower branches, lower leaves and the thorns, and it'll make life a much more enjoyable and easy arranging experience. Heavenly herbs such as rosemary and gorgeous mint are wonderful when added into arrangements. They look beautiful and smell amazing. Strip off the lower leaves, cut the stems and place into water. Boiling water, fresh from the kettle, is the perfect way to ensure that softer English foliage stays beautifully strong within your arrangements. Cut and split the stems on an angle and plunge the ends into boiling water. Leave them for a minute or two and you'll see some air bubbles will rise up. That's expelling the air that would cause a lock that would cause the stems to droop. Having left them for a minute or two, top up with cold water, and ideally, if you can, leave them overnight before arranging. Gorgeous stems of Lunaria like this need a bit of help just to tidy them up. So I'm going to strip off all the lower leaves, cut and split the stem because it's quite a hard woody stem, and just snip off the lower stems. Anything that's going to sit below the water will turn it soupy very quickly. And then I just like to tidy up, remove some of these leaves, which are amazing colours, but can become a little bit scruffy in your decoration. And then you have this lovely stem of wonderful seed pods. Delectable delphinium are an iconic British bloom, but select them when each flower is open and you'll find they're much more rewarding in the vase. With all foliage and plant material, make sure that you remove any lower leaves, stems and branches, because all of this will be below the waterline and your water goes very smelly and soupy very quickly. So always strip off lower leaves. When working with gorgeous garden roses, they just need a tiny bit of TLC to make them absolutely stage and screen ready. So just remove the lower, slightly scruffy guard petals to ensure you have petaled perfection. Like all of us, some flowers can be a little bit temperamental. So if you get a rose or some foliage that's a little bit floppy, boiling water can do the trick and revive it. Cut the stems, split them, and keeping the flowers away from the steam, sit them into some boiling water. You'll see the air bubbles starting to rise up. Leave them standing in water for a good minute or two, and then top them up with cold water and leave them overnight. And you should find a small miracle has happened, and they'll be pert and perky. For hard woody stems, such as this beautiful Rosa rubrifolia, remove the lower leaves and any foliage that's going to sit in the water, and cut stems on an angle and then split them. And this will help when it takes up water. One of my really favourite ways to display an eclectic mix of flowers, especially British seasonal cut flowers, is to form a tablescape. And ordinarily I might use quite a lovely collection of crystal and vases, but at home jam jars work perfectly well, and some of them are just as cute and just as much joy to arrange within as the grandest and poshest of vases or vessels. And when garden roses are as glorious and gorgeous as these, a few of them gathered together smell amazing and look utterly magnificent. But remembering always cutting the stems, stripping off the lower leaves, splitting the stems will help to make sure everything lasts that little bit longer. I might want to just add a stem or two in amongst what I'm creating. Sometimes I like to use my hand as a vase and make the decoration fully within it. Other times I quite enjoy adding in and tucking in different stems. These lovely Astrantia. It's known as Hattie's pincushion. Isn't it wonderful? Beautiful colour. Tuck a little bit of that in amongst that rose, together with some rather beautiful Nigella, Love in a Mist. There are a myriad other magical blooms to explore, including the iconic sweet peas, a British Flowers Week favourite. Delicate Ammi looks like cultivated cow parsley. Fragrant herbs, including mint, always add scent to British summer flowers. Luscious lupins are spires of colour, adding height throughout your British Flowers Week creations. I'm going to continue making my little assortment of jars, my bottles of beautiful British flowers, and then we'll go and pop them on my windowsill. So here we are. It's a gorgeous assortment of beautiful, fragrant British flowers. So now let's decorate the windowsill. A fun and florally fabulous windowsill of beautiful, fragrant British cut flowers. What a total treat. Delicate delphinium, lacy Ammi, gorgeous garden roses and sweet peas. What a tribute to British Flowers Week.